We are on to serving gifts, our beautiful serving gifts. We call these gifts the toolbox because they are such a beautiful addition, a beautiful contribution to the body of Christ in seeing needs and finding tools and ways to fill those needs and to serve people well. And so, speaking of which, Romans 12, we're back in chapter 12, verse 7. Paul says, if your grace gift is serving, then thrive in serving others well. Thrive in serving others well. Couple of things I want to say about this. The activation to success in the serving gift is to, first of all, thrive in your serving. So you don't want it to be a heavy burden on you. If you're burdened by serving and you're a high serving gift, then you know that you've got some tired, unhealthy imbalances going on, and you got to take care of yourself. So thrive in the serving and do it well. Meaning, when you're serving, serve with the utmost excellence, with your best, always giving your best, because it's always going to make you feel successful in what you're doing. Sometimes when serving gifts get tired, they start kind of cutting corners, and then they don't feel like they're accomplishing or connecting to what their role in the body and in the world is. So serve well with excellence.
So the serving gift, I think sometimes is a little self-explanatory. Your function, where you get energy, where you see, on here where see a need and fill it, is really, that's how most serving gifts. That's just how they see the world. They jump in, they go. And really, what's really amazing about the serving gift is that you have the ability to not only see need and fill it, but you have this amazing ability to see the need. So I don't want to jump over that, because you see the need. So a lot of times some of the, very, very successful entrepreneurs and things like that are serving gifts, because they can walk in a spot and they say, there's a need, there's a need, there's a need, there's a need. And then they have the ability to say, and here's how we're going to fulfill that, and here's how we're going to fulfill that. And so you'll see a lot of serving gifts, very, very successful business people, because they just go with it. Also, because you're high in that serving, you make everyone else's life easier. So for all of you serving gifts out there, when you're high in serving, you make everyone's life easier and
absolutely
better. You add so much value in what you're doing. So thank you for all you serving gifts.
And I would also say, just as much as is a strength of a serving gift is just the intense ability to recognize the needs. You can walk into a room and you can feel the needs. What needs to be done? What does the person need? What does the group need? You have an amazing, a revelational ability to find a solution for it. So as if there's not the right tool to get it done, you will figure out how to get it done, because you are driven by seeing those needs filled. And that is such a essential part of how we function in the world and in the church. And that serving gift, sometimes it can be in the background and feel like maybe we don't honor the serving gifts a lot, because they kind of can sit behind the scenes and make things run. They make the world go round. They are the ones that are caring for us and enhancing the quality of life, like you said. So the intense ability to recognize needs and then revelational solutions to be able to fill those needs. As a matter of fact, sometimes even entrepreneurs, inventors, and maybe not all inventors that, invent the light bulb, things like that. But as an illustration, one of the greatest gifts of a serving gift is that they see a problem and they want to solve it. And so just like Edison was like, oh, we need light, let's invent a light bulb. Just for an illustration, that's kind of how a serving gift is wired to think. So
absolutely. So expressions of Christ, again, he cares about the need. So again, when you download this sheet, Galatians 3:13.
Yeah, he became the curse for us.
Right.
We needed salvation, and he filled the ultimate need that we have by climbing up on the cross and becoming the curse so that we could be free. That's the ultimate need that
Right.
Christ filled.
Feeding the 5,000,
Mm-hmm.
right? In that, in Mark 6.
Yeah.
And what amazing example of Christ was is saying, well, we're looking around and the disciples were saying, well, should we, people are getting hungry. Should we like tell them to go off to the local town and, go find something to eat?
Should we send him home?
Right.
To go eat?
Right. And just like, no, we're going to fill
Let's
that.
feed 'em.
There's a need.
Yeah.
Let's feed them. So,
And again, revelational solutions, right? Because there wasn't enough fish or bread. So
Right.
he made a miracle.
right.
He literally made a tool that worked.
Right.
For the,
Same
for the,
same with the water into wine, right? He was,
Mhm.
Jesus was at a wedding. They ran out of wine and he turned water into wine. Mary said, I love that story because Mary's like, hey, Jesus, go do your thing. Like, go do that. And he's like, woman, it's not my time. He goes, oh, it's not my time to do that. And so anyway, Mary convinced him to do it anyway. So that's what he did. And so it's such a cool, just a cool example of again, there's a need here. And in that particular case, and I think it's true with most serving gifts, it's not just about saying, here's a problem, let's see if we can band-aid it up or patch it or get it by. There's oftentimes a lot of excellence that comes along with that serving gift. So again, that's a perfect example of that. The way that story reads, right, is that the host or whatever said, oh my gosh, who is it that after everyone has been drinking wine all day long, who then brings out the good stuff? Normally you bring out the bad stuff, the cheap stuff, but the wine that Jesus turned from water to wine was excellent. It was considered the good stuff. Right. And so that serving gift, that serving heart is saying, not only are we just going to fulfill this need, but we're going to do it with excellence, and it's going to be better and more amazing. So
that really well illustrates verse 7 that says, thrive in it and serve well. So Jesus, of course, always being our prime example of expression, it was just did everything top notch. He did everything well. He did it above and beyond. He filled that space, not just to the point, okay, I got it done. Some of you have kids who do chores and you're like, okay, you did it, but you didn't really do it well. So you might have to redo it because it's like, well, I did it. It's done. Clearly not a serving gift. A serving gift is more prone to push toward, we need to get this done with excellence. I want this functioning well. I have a dear, dear friend of mine, and I invite her into every space that I plan. Parties. I love to do parties and do events and stuff like that. And I call on her every time because not only is she a serving gift, like she will do whatever needs to be done,
sleeves up,
but she catches the vision and she does it to the nines. I don't even need to go back and say, oh, can you? I mean, she gets it and she is just amazing. And I love this gift so much because you just know that the person always values your need, not just like, hey, we better fill this up, but like, I value you and your need. And so serving gifts really make us feel like that's how it's the affections that they show of Christ to the body is by caring for our needs. And so I love the way serving gifts just make the room feel cared for. Like I don't have to worry about the needs that I have. And so, if you skip over to section 9, the function in the church will often be like serving gifts heading up some of these charitable and benevolent events and projects like feeding the poor, caring for the widows, caring for the homeless, those kind of practical things. You're going to see them oftentimes wanting to be in the front line, sometimes prison ministries, whatever, just wanting to serve people and meet their needs practically. There
was a gentleman who used to go to church with high server, like so much so like when he was around or you were around him, like you almost couldn't lift a finger. Like
let me get that for you.
Yeah, I mean, constantly.
Why are you holding that? Here, let me take it.
Let me grab your garbage. Can I get you something else? Like it was constant. And this was years ago. It was Hurricane Katrina that happened, and like he was the first one that stood up and said, we need to create a team, and we need to go down, and we need to rebuild houses.
We
and
need to bring our tools,
right?
And we need to fix the situation. And building houses, but not just slapping together some 2x4s, like just the meticulous way to make sure that it's
patching them up. We're going to
we're doing it well. And so again, some of the strengths might be that you have a meticulous way of doing things, or you're really good at working with your hands. Now you might say, I'm a serving gift and I don't do well working with my hands. Again, just like a teaching gift that says, I don't really teach things right now. You grow in that. So serving gifts grow in serving. They grow in bringing solutions into problems, and they grow in the meticulous way that they handle details. So if you're growing in your gift and you would just say, I really don't function in that part of it real well yet, it's okay. Don't sweat it. Just keep growing in it. That's all.
Mm-hmm. I want to spend a little extra time on the strengths. And I'm going to explain that in 1 second. So, vision for making the work camp work is one of the items on here. So, again, this the way that I really think view the serving gift is that you are really able to reach up into heaven and grab heavenly solutions and bring them down.
Yeah,
and it's this uncanny ability to do that. Like, you come in a situation and people are like, I don't know how we're gonna do that. And you come in, it's like boom, 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 boom. Mm-hmm. And you just do it. You just see it, right?
You got your handy dandy toolbox. And you're like, I got a tool for that. I can figure that out.
Right. But it really truly it's just reaching up into heaven and grabbing those solutions down from heaven. It's absolutely incredible. So, and the reason why I want to, make sure that we just take an extra minute, because I think a lot of times serving gifts, they can feel like they're in the background, that they don't matter, and we'll get into the pitfalls there, but you do matter. And in fact, I mean, so important to not only the body of believers, but for the whole world. Because
you have such a strong urge to fill needs, and that's how you express, and that's how you feel valued. In a natural way. You have to be really careful not to hide behind your serving when God will call you out to maybe do something a little different, or maybe to express in a little different way, because you've got other gifts. You're not just a serving gift, and we're not just a teaching gift, or we're not just a prophecy gift, but we all have combinations of things that God is drawing out of us. So a serving gift sometimes can really hesitate, because they like to be in that serving space and sort of being behind the scenes, because they may not feel very comfortable being on the front line. So be careful not to hide behind that and miss opportunities to be upgraded or to grow up and out of something that you're doing. Another warning would be to be careful not to get stuck. I have this under the wisdom for marketplace. Don't get stuck in a job function or a role or a position, because you're just like serving. It's what I do, and they need me. And you're really feeling like it's time to move on. If God is calling you up and out, you have to be led by the Spirit, led by what God is telling you, not by the needs of the people. The people are always going to have needs. Jesus said the poor will always be with you. The needy will always be with you. Needs are never going to go away. I mean, for Pete's sake, we mow the lawn and it grows back. We cut our hair and it grows back. We clip our nails, they grow back. So everything in this world, we dust, it comes back. The needs will always be there. So you have to make sure that you don't get into an unhealthy place in your weaknesses, putting others' needs before your own in an unhealthy way, and not hearing the Lord calling you forward, because your personal life will suffer. Your spiritual life will suffer. Another blind spot is that sometimes when you do that, you can forsake your whole spiritual life in general, because you're so stuck on filling the needs, and practical needs. There's so much to do. It never ends. Pretty soon you're like, wow, my spirit is dry because I'm doing, not spending any time just being still and receiving from the Lord too.
Yeah. So important, it's part of the blind spots, but also part of the weaknesses is that because you say, hey, I feel alive when I'm serving, when I'm filling needs and things like that it's that you again, that you create boundaries. We talked about this a lot with the mercy gifts. And I think it's as important with the serving gifts is that you are able to create healthy boundaries, because like Rihanna said, there's always needs. There's always widows. There's always poor. There's always things to do and to serve and things like that. And make sure that as you're doing that and fulfilling that piece of your life, that you're not forsaking your family, So you got to have proper boundaries. So important. Just like I said, just like with the mercy gifts. So.
Right. Matter of fact, if we kind of flip over and just jump to wisdom in marriage and parenting, since we're there, since you kind of brought it up, we're just kind of bounce around a little bit. But wisdom in marriage and parenting is just that. Don't let your kids grow up watching you serve the entire world and never be there to serve them, to be there for their needs and what they need, because serving gifts can do that. They are running everywhere haywire to fulfill the needs of everybody in the church and everybody on the job and everybody here and everybody there. And then their family tends to suffer. Now, the flip side to that, if you look on here, is also, though, if you tend to be more introverted or you're at home more and you're serving your family so much that you become more like a Martha than a Mary, and you're not balanced. Just like the teacher, we said, be careful not to be too far into your head space instead of your heart space. With the serving gift, be careful not to be too much in your Martha space and not enough in your Mary space when it comes to your spouse, your kids, the Lord, where you must learn to just be present. You don't have to fill all the needs, right? Our kids need to grow up and learn to be self-sufficient. So as a serving gift, be careful to back off and balance off and say, hey, my kids need to learn how to do their own laundry. They have to learn how to make their own sandwich. I'm not a high serving gift, but a funny story that I have is that our youngest is very much loves to be served. He's the receiving end of the serving gift. That is his number one. It's his love language. His love language is serving. And I'm not necessarily a high serving gift, but I've been a stay-at-home mom and a homeschooler for years. So I obviously fill lots of needs in my family and I love doing it. But he has been the one that is like, you know, he's going to be 11 and he's still, Mom, can you make my taco for me? Mom, can you make my peanut butter sandwich for me? I just like it so much better when you do it. So, and then we have children who are very self-sufficient and independent.
They want to do it themselves.
So they get irritated when I'm making a taco for the 11-year-old because he loves to be served. And one night we were eating tacos and he had asked for me to make him one. We were all kind of sitting around the table. Mom, can you make me another taco? I was like, no, buddy, you can do it yourself. You're old enough. You got it. He's like, oh, but come on. It's so much better when you do it for me. And my other child goes, Mom, don't you do it. Mom, don't you do it. And I got up from the table and said, I'll do it. I'm on my way to the kitchen. He's like, Mom, don't you dare make that taco for him. If you make that taco for him, he'll never grow up to be a real man. And we just had a good laugh about that because we were like the epitome of over-serving.
Right.
And sometimes underserving if you're too busy about the world and its needs. So there could be two ditches to that gift to be really careful of when it comes to your family.
Right.
So I think we can probably head back to blind spots, but.
Yeah. So again, we see this a little bit with the mercy gift as well, but unaware when your energy level is low, because again, you're just like, hey, there's more work to be done. And so and next thing you know, you can become very, very depleted. And that's just something to be really aware of, become overwhelmed. Yeah. Right.
I have a sweet friend of mine who's a high serving gift and she's overwhelmed a lot. And I just feel like I'm not a high serving gift. So sometimes I'm like, oh, you just got to just let it go. Just who cares?
Say no.
Just leave it for tomorrow. But it's hard for a serving gift to do that because they see a need and they got to fill it. Like it's just part of how they're driven. And so we have to get temperate, right? We have to mature in temperance. It's a fruit of the spirit, temperance. Say it with me, temperance. Every single gift that's a fruit of the spirit is to be balanced in your gift.
One of the other ones on here I think is also really good is that your serving you're like, okay, we got this job, we're going to try to get it done, we're moving forward, we're plowing forward.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just actually run over people. Like your heart is to help people
Sure.
and to meet those needs, but you're so focused on the job at hand that you just like plow over people and that's so again, that's a weakness or a blind spot. So just be really be aware of that one as well.
Yeah. Obviously, number 5, taking care of yourself, rest. We tell every gift you need rest. Everybody needs rest.
It's pretty interesting. When we were listening to Caesar teach all these gifts, I think on all of them, he's like, when you're tired, go to sleep.
Go to sleep.
Go to bed. Like, if you're married to someone with this gift and they get tired. If
you're seeing these red flags here under tired and unhealthy, just go to bed.
Go to bed.
I literally sometimes just put myself to bed. I don't even tell people because I know it. I mean, when I was younger in my walk with Christ, I would just go bananas. Like, why am I like this? Why I can't function? I'm just And I eventually started to learn the wisdom of just go to sleep. I would just go to bed. I wouldn't tell anybody. Now, the hard part for me, because I'm a very regimented person at times, was like, I got to say goodnight to everybody. I got to shut all the lights off. I got to make sure the doors are locked. And I would just get to the point where I was so worn out, so run down that I would just go to bed and go, you know what? I don't care. I don't care if the windows stay open tonight. I don't care if the light, I got to get sleep or I am going to go bananas. So just listen to the red flags. They're here on this worksheet. Just pin it to your wall and revisit it often. If you are getting those red flags, no matter what gift you are, if you're tired and unhealthy, take care of yourself. Unplug. Cancel your appointments. When you're mature in your gifts and maturing in your gifts, you are aware of your time and season. Because listen to me, even right things and wrong seasons are not good things. You have to know when it's a yes and when it's a no, and then flex that no muscle. It will save your life. It'll save your marriage. It'll save your family.
Yeah, super important. And I think that goes right into where if we start getting good at that, which is good, then as soon as we start doing that, the enemy's going to come in and say,
number 7.
Oh, you're flexing your no muscle. You're lazy. Right. You're not enough. You're not doing enough or whatever. And so, number 7, the enemy will accuse you of those things. So
then self-rejection sets in.
Right.
Self-hate, self-rejection, I'm not valuable, I'm not doing enough, I'm not filling enough needs.
Right. Yeah. So again, just like we talked about with the mercy, again, these mercies are mercy and serving. I see these as a very, I would say, gifts that are easily manipulated because your heart is just so much for just serving and to care and all those things. So again, it's the same kind of thing, boundaries, flex your no muscle. Those are all really, really important. And when you start doing those things, the enemy's going to say some similar things like, again, you're not enough, you're not doing enough, self-rejection, guilt, shame, condemnation, all of those kinds of things. And remember, your ability to serve and problem solve, that doesn't replace Christ. Just like the mercy doesn't replace Christ. It's the same kind of thing. Is that doesn't replace
We must
Christ.
always function in our gifts from identity, not for identity. And this is for every gift. If you're functioning in your gift and your expression for your identity, it's always going to crash and burn. If you're functioning in it from your identity, then you're going to be maturing in understanding your time and season, what God is saying to you, and whatever God is saying to you supersedes anything else. Whatever need there is, whatever spiritual issue and bondage there is to break, whatever people there are to connect to their target, whatever the thing that leads you in your gift is secondary to what God is saying to you in your life. If you have to turn somebody away because it is not your season to do so, then you have to do it. And that is maturity in your gift. So wisdom for maturity, basically in number 8, is just that. Being still and knowing that He is God, not you. Reflect on His provision and operate in your space from your identity. Make your personal health a priority. We've already kind of talked about that. When you're healthy, your relationships are healthy, your family's healthy, and the expression that you have in your gift is going to be excellent. When you're not healthy, you're going to find that your serving gift is not coming out excellent and you're not thriving in it, right? Romans 12:7 says to thrive in serving and do it well. You're going to find if you're not healthy that you're not being able to do it well, and it's going to frustrate you and it's going to just perpetuate more issues. So take care of yourself. Learn to rest, receive comfort from other people. Let other people serve you. You don't always have to be the one doing everything. You can sit down and let somebody else serve you and let them be a blessing to you, because that blesses other people. You aren't the only serving gift in the world. There are other serving gifts that need to serve you. So let your needs be known and let your spouse love on you. Let your family love on you. Let other people do things for you too.
Yeah. I don't know that this is always the case, but sometimes when you have that serving gift, that when we talked about love languages, sometimes that serving gift is also how you receive love, because you just value that serving so much that when others serve you, you really feel loved. And so, but remember, you have to create that space for that, because if you're the only one always doing the serving, that doesn't work either, because then again, you get back into some of the pitfalls of I'm not enough and things like that. So they connect.
And sometimes you have to grow in it. It might be hard for you to do it at first. I mean, it's hard to temper anything. It's hard to temper chocolate. I mean, you do it in a double boiler, very gently, got to stir, there's like all these kind of kit gloves sort of thing. It's not, tempering things isn't just like blasting it and wow, boom, it's done. Being tempered in something means this process of growing in it and becoming balanced in it. So you have to push yourself. If it's hard for you to be served, then do it more and really learn to grow that muscle. So we're going to wrap up with 9 and 10 quick. But the function in the church, the secret weapon of the church being service, because they are really the glue of seeing the problems, seeing the needs, getting them filled, because there's always needs. There's always people who have needs, and that will never go away. And so, but the other thing I want to say is that a serving gift doesn't just have to be in the background, but they can activate the body of Christ to see needs. Just like every other gift is meant to be imparted in some way and to contribute to the rest of the body. The serving gift isn't like, okay, I got an elbow over here and it just sort of is detached doing its thing all the time, just making sure everything's fine. But it contributes to the rest of the body and brings life. So it teaches functionality. And so the serving gift can also be really good for the body to activate, bring people into your circle. Say, hey, you want to join this project with me? Do you see this need over here? We're going to do something about this. I'd love to have you join me in this. Learn to use your gift to activate the body of Christ to see needs and fill it and be comfortable in that space, because we should all be serving one another, and we're not all great at it. Some of us don't see a lot of needs to fill. I know people who even say in their house, they're like, I keep a really messy house because I don't even see dirt. I don't even notice that it needs to be done. I don't care a thing about it. They're probably not a high serving gift because they just don't see discrepancy. They don't see need. They need to be taught and activated to do so. And so serving gifts in the body of Christ find space to express the gift openly and activate it to teach other people to come in there and do it too.
Right. And again, we already touched on this, but in the marketplace, again, what a huge gift that you are to the marketplace, and you just have that amazing ability just to be able to to see things and pull, again, like I said, pull those solutions down from heaven. Yeah. And so
much of corporations and inventions and growth in certain areas, I mean, you probably don't hear about the people behind the scenes that have seen a problem and said, hey, I got a solution for that. They're probably not the big name on the front of the thing that's now viral, but they were the brains behind it because they were able to see something, a problem, and figure out how to fix it. So there, in the marketplace, a serving gift is the key ingredient to business growth, to market growth to product growth, seeing that, like, watching products just evolve over time. For sure, there was a serving gift that saw a problem and went, there's a problem with this thing, we can fix it, here's a solution. And so so kind of like the songwriter to the singer and performers that get all the glory for the song and dance, right? But there's always a writer behind it who saw the lyric and saw the space there and pulled it down from heaven and gave it to the front runner. So
love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.